It's lovely to have you all here. And I haven't been in front of the camera for a very, very long time, but I'll try my best to just whiz through him, and then we'll have like a quick little discussion regarding the stuff that I'll be going through. So as Missy has already spoken about that, we'll be talking about goal setting. And we're also going to be talking about vision as well. So it's a combination of a vision and goal setting. And I just wanted to begin with just saying what a vision is. Like I said, I'm going to whiz through this material because Muzzy's the one looking after the girls at the minute. And we don't want mummy to be away for too long, otherwise it's going to go pear-shaped. So I'll whiz through them. So vision is a mental image, the ability to see into the future. So what it is that you're trying to achieve either in business or in your personal life. And it's very important to have a vision that is clear so that you are able to set some goals that are also clear. So when it comes to setting goals, it is ideal to set a goal. It is ideal to set a goal that is so specific, it's hard to veer off from it. So a goal is an aim or a desired outcome that you're trying to achieve. And it's important that when you are setting your goals that they're very, very specific. So an acronym that is normally used for goal setting is the SMART acronym. And SMART is for, the S is for specific. So whatever goal that it is that you're making, it needs to be specific. And the reason for that is it makes it easier for you to stick to the plan. It has to be measurable, which is the M. And that means that you have to be able to see how far you've come, see where you're going, see how far off you are from your original plan, and how to get back on it. And it also has to be attainable. So there's no point in making a goal that is so far-fetched that it's going to be hard for you to attain it. And then as a result of that, you're going to quit, because that's normally what happens. So if I was to set myself a goal that I am going to, I don't know, do something I've never been able to achieve, something like read the Bible in a day, it's so far-fetched for me to be able to think that I can read from the beginning to the end in one day. Chances are I'll fail, but it won't encourage me to keep going. I'll just be like, well, I failed that. Anyway, moving on to the next thing. And it also has to be relevant. So the goals have to be relevant to whatever it is that you've set. And it has to be time bound as well. So a lot of the time we set a goal that is so open to interpretation, you don't even get a chance to be able to see how far you've come, where you're going with it, and whether you're going to be able to achieve them. So let's say, for instance, you wanted to set a goal for money, for saving money. So we've got 3 people who are wanting to set this goal. And the first person says that I want to be better with money this year. So 2021 is the year that I'm going to be better with money. And then the second person, the way that they set their goal is, by the end of the year, I want to have £1,200 in my bank account saved. And then the third person says that I want to every month put away £100 a month. On the 23rd of each month, I'm going to set up a standing order for that money to go into my savings account in order for me to be able to save £1,200. The third person has clearly thought about what it is they want to do, which is save the £1,200. They have said how they're going to achieve it by saying that they're putting away £100 a month. They've said how they're going to do it by setting up a standing order that will enable them to save that money. And it's also attainable because at that point, you would have calculated from your finances that £100 is achievable and you're not veering too far away from that plan. So the more specific that your goal is, the easier it is for you to achieve it. And once you've set something that specific, you need to be able to ensure that you can do it. And if you're veering away from it, so let's say in January something happens, and I'm unable to save the £100, but I can put away £75. But because I know that I'm already £25 short, I can now then put 125 in February or a different month. I'm just going to pause 1 second because my light's just gone. Sorry about that. And sorry, I was saying that it has to be that specific, that it is easier to stay on track. And also, in order for your goal to be something that is attainable, it needs to make sense to you. It needs to have meaning to yourself. So a lot of the time we have these things that we do, where someone else is doing really well in whatever industry or whatever thing that they're doing, and then you want to start doing that, but it's not your passion. It doesn't mean anything to yourself. And that means that whenever you're setting your goals, they won't have any meaning. And without that sort of meaning attached to them, you're not able to achieve the things that you've set out to achieve to begin with. A goal is your version of what it is that you want to achieve for your own future. So a lot of the time when we sit down and we thinking, what is it that I want to do? We don't actually know. So if you don't know what it is that you're trying to achieve, you're not going to be able to achieve it. You're just starting to be a part of somebody else's plan because you haven't made your own plan. And another thing that's really important, that I believe is really important when we're setting goals, is to understand accountability. So, for instance, at the beginning of the month, my sisters and I sat down to actually write down our goals that we're going to achieve for the next 12 months. And the reason for that, for first of all, sitting down to write them down, is because once you start writing things down, it makes them more real. So it makes it a situation where you actually know what it is that you want to achieve. And by putting it down to paper, and also by having other people there, then you know that you've got somebody somebody for accountability. Because it's hard sometimes when you have things going on in your head and you haven't told anyone. You can quickly veer off your plan because you have got no accountability. You haven't written it down. You haven't committed it to pen and paper. So it's easy to kind of fleet in between. I'm doing this, I've left it. I'm doing a bit of that, I've left it. And I don't know whether, I think a lot of you here are familiar with texts from the Bible. And I'm just going to tell you a bit of text. And Habakkuk 2 verse 2 said, "And the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads them." So even the Bible tells us that we need to be able to write our visions and our goals down so that we're better able to achieve them. It makes it more tangible. It makes it that little bit more real. Whereas if it's just in our heads, we're not really putting it down. We're not really manifesting it that well. So it's really important that we have the goal, write it down. We set specific steps in order to achieve it. So specific short-term steps, and then the long-term goals of what it is that we're trying to achieve. I know that a lot of us here are trying to get into property or already in property investment. And a lot of the time you kind of hear what other people are doing, the big £1 million deals and everything like that. But they all took one small step. So they started by either attending a seminar, reading a book, speaking to a mentor, doing some small step in order to achieve that major thing that they want to achieve. It never just started from major things. So you can't start with this amazing big vision and then not kind of draw back to start with the simple steps that take you to where you need to be. And every day you need to be taking one small step to be able to achieve what it is that you want to achieve. So it doesn't have to be major big things that you're doing. So like I said, you could be just reading a book. You could just be making sure that you attend seminars or attend webinars. And at the beginning of the day, I think that is very important that when you wake up, you say what it is that you're going to do. You write down a list, a to-do list. So in the morning, you would write 3 things that you have to achieve in that day to make sure that your day is a productive day. And from those 3 things, you also have to make some other goals that you want to achieve on that same day. So these if I achieve these, they're great. But if I don't, I'm not going to beat myself up over it. And then at the end of the day, you kind of reflect back on what it is that you've done. So I've achieved those major 3 goals that are going to propel me forward. And I've also touched on A, B, and C. And in order for tomorrow to be good, I need to be able to do that. And what can I improve on today to be able to get to where I need to be? I hope that is making sense to everybody. Has anybody got any questions or anything regarding anything that I've said so far?
Nope, all good, thanks.
Doesn't seem like we've got any questions so far. And the idea of being able to set those goals for yourself that are achievable and attainable, because sometimes we get ourselves tangled up in a web where we want to do something. Let's say you want to do something, but then you're scared to take that first step. And that first step initially is what makes you think, okay, this is too far out of my comfort zone. I'm not going to be able to do it. So you talk yourself out of it. And you're like, I need to prepare some more. And the reason that you tell yourself that you need to prepare some more is so that you know exactly what you're doing. And by preparing some more, some people will either read lots of books, watch lots of YouTube videos, go to different seminars, attend different programs and things like that. And from that, you find yourself with all this information, but not able to make the first step. So you know that in order to lose weight, you need to eat healthy, you need to exercise. And then you find yourself either reading about all the different diets that are going on. So you start researching keto diet, you start researching the Cambridge diet, and then you're like, okay, none of these are going to work for me. They all seem too complicated. And the idea of running in the cold, it doesn't seem to work for me. Start researching different gyms and how much they cost and all this. And then you've got all this wealth of information, but don't do anything with it. And a person like that is equally as bad as a person who doesn't even try. And that loop of wanting to gather more information, not taking that first step, is what is known as analysis paralysis, where you find yourself in a situation where you're working so hard to get a lot of information, but you don't actually end up doing anything with that information. And I just wanted to say, like, analysis paralysis is an individual who overanalyzes a situation and it stops them actually progressing forward. And it's the fear normally of making a mistake that actually stops them from making a decision. And that fear actually outweighs the joy that you will receive at the end of the joy you'll receive of attaining the goal, so much so that you stop yourself from any form of success. And then that imbalance of my fear is so strong that it won't propel me forward is what a lot of people end up doing. And then they stay in what we know as the comfort zone. So in your comfort zone is where things are sort of the same. things make sense, things flow in a way that is logical to yourself. And for you to be able to get out of your comfort zone, it requires you to do something different. It requires you to plan. It requires you to sit down and really think about what it is that you want to achieve. And some people don't want to do that. And the result of not wanting to do that keeps us in the same spot that we always have been. And that doesn't work in terms of wanting to achieve better things for ourselves, in terms of wanting to achieve your goal, in terms of wanting to achieve your vision, your big vision. You can't do that if you're stuck in your comfort zone. So it's very important, something to think about as like we draw to the end of the year, because it is sort of the end of the year where everyone's winding down and starting to think about what it is that we want to do for 2021. I know that a lot of the times there are plans that we can make, there are goals that we want to achieve, and then things happen. Like this year, we've had a pandemic that we've been hit with. There's certain things that we had planned for ourselves, certain things that we had wanted to achieve that might have not happened the same way that we've wanted them to happen. But if you've made a plan of what you're trying to achieve, you can see how you can adjust it. If something like a pandemic happens, you see how you can sort of change your course of action to be able to still achieve what it is that you wanted to achieve. So a lot of people like this year weren't able to meet socially, we weren't able to do anything like that. But because, like Muzzy was saying, that he wanted to start property platform for Zimbabweans, and in his head it was going to be meeting up in different venues and doing things like that, but that wasn't possible because we're not allowed to mix with different households. But then that didn't stop him from achieving that, because he started doing things on Zoom and he started having weekly meetings. It wasn't something that I guess was part of the vision, because it wanted to do it in person, share those interpersonal skills. It's easier to talk to people in person. I can attest to that, because when you're just talking to like a camera screen, you're like, I don't know what's going on. Are people receiving it well or anything like that? But then because of the situation, the goal had to be changed, but the vision is still the same. So you can adjust your goals to kind of accommodate the situations that are happening, but the vision was still the same, that it wanted to create a platform that is accessible to other Zimbabweans for property investment. And that is still something that is going ahead. So being able to be flexible within, because a lot of the times life will come at you different ways. Different things happen, things that you didn't plan for. And in the event of such things happening, you can just make small changes to be able to still achieve what it is that you set yourself out to achieve. And yeah, that's what I wanted to speak to about analysis paralysis, because a lot of the time we find ourselves thinking, I can't do that because I don't know X, Y, and Z. I can't do that because of X, Y, and Z. But then just taking that first step, that leap of faith, coupled with a plan, you can't just go in free falling, coupled with a plan, and then that will allow you to be able to make better decisions to get to where you need to. I'm just going to check on the chat here. There's something on there. Make sure that I haven't missed something that people want to know. Okay. So this says, SMART is great for goal setting. Awesome presentation. Thank you, Ben. How can one avoid setting a goal that is too low in the spirited making it attainable, eventually causing you to underperform? I guess the question really is how to get the balance. Okay. So I'm trying to understand that. Would you be able to explain this a little bit further for me, Ben, if you don't mind unmuting yourself?
Sorry, I apologize. It might be a bit of background noise, but hopefully you can hear me well. I guess what I was trying to say is, I mean, you mentioned obviously about setting a goal that's attainable.
Mm-hmm.
And my question is really is, you setting the goal, how do you sort of kind of try and navigate away the possible danger of setting a goal that's maybe um, that makes it reasonably attainable for you, but then causes you to really not necessarily work towards your full potential? So you almost maybe pat yourself on the back because you've attained the goal,
Yeah.
but really maybe you're really working at around 60 or 70% of where you really need to be.
Okay.
So my question is really how do you strike the balance between not setting something that is just, like trying to read the Bible, as you said, in a day, and then trying to set something that's realistically achievable. So how do you get the balance?
Okay. Now that's a really good question. So in terms of setting a goal that seems to be a good balance between something that's attainable and not too far-fetched, is you don't want to set yourself a goal that's too easy, like you said, where I can do it within seconds. So something like I want to drink more water is my goal, and then setting myself a task of drinking 1 glass of water a day. So I think it's about understanding what it's about understanding where it is that you want to go with it. So I always feel like set it that it's high enough for you to be pushed. So let's say that I want to, I guess, lose weight. We'll do weight loss because a lot of people are going to be thinking about weight loss in the coming year. I want to do weight loss. Exercising, if I'm not exercising at all, going from not exercising at all to 7 days a week is a big jump. So I need to try and do 5 days a week to give myself 2 days of rest. And 5 days a week is a lot for somebody who doesn't normally do exercising, but I can try it out myself. So if I do it for 5 days and I think, okay, I can actually do this, then that is a goal that I can set myself. But then if I want to try and do 1 day a week, that's ridiculously simple. So it's about you knowing yourself. You have to be really honest with yourself and set yourself something that pushes you but doesn't burn you out to a point where you don't want to do it, if that makes sense. So you need to be able to set a goal that is hard to a certain degree. It has to mentally push you. It has to really push you to do something that is outside of your comfort zone. Because if it doesn't push you enough, it's not going to grow you. So you need to be able to get growth from whatever goal that you set yourself. Otherwise, you're going to be kind of fleeting in between mediocre land and you don't want to be there. So everything that you do has to push you enough to make you want to do better, but also not push you enough to the point where you no longer want to do it anymore. Thank you. Has anybody else got any questions regarding like goals and what it is that you'll be thinking about setting those goals for your future? Because obviously 2021 is coming around the corner and there's been a lot of change in all different aspects of our lives. So what is it that you would want to find out? I can see that, is this Tendai has raised their hand? You can ask.
Yeah, it's just I want to add those something on.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Okay, so there's another group I'm in.
Mm-hmm.
They actually set up some accountability meetings.
Okay.
Yeah. So after you've done your goals, you discuss it. When do you want to achieve it and how, whatever.
Yeah.
Then you have weekly accountability meetings where you have to say, did you achieve the goal? What was the problem? If you didn't achieve it, and how are you gonna navigate the problem that you that failed you to achieve the goal. So I find that very, very helpful.
Yeah,
But
that is
that's
a
what
good
I
one.
wanted to add.
Yeah, thank you so much. It is really good to have people, accountability partners. And I can't stress this enough. It can be your friend, your partner, your mentor, somebody has to help you to be an accountability partner. And it's just a way of not so much keeping tabs, but just allowing you to be able to get that somebody to make sure that you're doing the things that you've set yourself out to do. So I remember last year, myself and Muzzy decided that we were going to lose weight and we wanted to lose, uh, we set out how much we're going to lose. I won't tell you how much because you can guess how much I weighed then. I wanted to lose a substantial amount of weight. And in order for me to be able to do it myself, I was trying all sorts of different diets and it wasn't working. And then I told myself and I told Muzzy that we're not going to do this on our own. We need something. And we joined a slimming group. And on there, at the slimming group, it's got weekly meetings. And at those weekly meetings, you sit there with a number of people and you tell them whether you lost weight, you didn't lose weight, and why you think you lost weight or why you think you didn't lose weight and what you're going to do differently in the next week. And like Tendai said, that really helps because you're starting to think about, okay, I want to show a positive result at that weekly meeting. And if it doesn't go right, if you don't have a positive result, it gives you an opportunity to reflect on what went wrong. Because a lot of the times we have things that happen, things go wrong in our lives, and we just think, oh, that was an inconvenience. But we don't actually take a moment to step back to think, could I have done something differently? What have I actually learned from this mishap that's happened in my life? And when you sit back with your accountability partner and think, what went wrong? What could I have done differently to be able to achieve the result that I wanted to achieve? And from that, you're thinking, okay, it gets you thinking, okay, I could have done A, B, C. I veered off my plan because I didn't do this, or this actually wasn't part of my plan, but I need to incorporate it into my plan because if I incorporate that into my plan, I'm able to achieve what I want to achieve. So it's about reflection as well. So reflecting on what it is that went wrong or went right, because sometimes things go really right and like, okay, what did I do last week that's changed so much that's given me the result that I have now? So it's very important. Thank you.
I've got a question. I was just wondering how you any advice to get over the sort of analysis paralysis thing?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. Thank you for that, Harry. Analysis paralysis. I suffer from analysis paralysis a lot because I want to read about what everybody else has been doing, how they've done it, and then just taking that initial step will take me a long time. And that is where I work really well with someone like Muzzy, who's a risk taker. And he will kind of push me to be like, okay, Charleen, you need to do this now. I know that it scares you. I know that it's outside of your comfort zone. But in order for you to be able to get to where you need to be, you need to take that first step. And it's the fear of the unknown really that causes it, because you fear what could go wrong, what could possibly what people could think and things like that, things that don't really matter. So it's about taking a step back and just thinking, what is it that I want to achieve? And because I want to achieve that, if I'm suffering from analysis paralysis, I know myself, I need to get myself a person or something that will encourage me to take that first step, to take that risk, because it might to move away from the fear, because in your head you're kind of making up all these scenarios that might happen, that probably would happen or might not even happen at all, but you wouldn't know until you actually tried doing it. So I would suggest that if you suffer from it, is get yourself somebody who can push you to do things that you might not want to do, and tell somebody your plan. So some people are like, okay, my plan is to do weight loss, but then I'm now sat sifting through all these different diets, all these different exercise plans and all this, but I'm not actually doing anything about it. But if I've told someone, they will keep checking up on me like, have you done it? What have you done this time? And then that will force you to take that first step.
Perfect. Thank you.
That's all right. Has anybody else got any other questions regarding that?
Yeah, Shirley.
Hello.
Yeah. I don't want to ask any question. I just want to add some of the things one my son taught me, as you are saying now. Yes, yeah. Or the time I was having a lot of stress and depression with all the bills. So my son told me how to do. It's like the way you are saying, to set goals. Oh, yes, I was nearly to go and have like bankrupt. Yes. Then my son said, Mom, why you can't do this to put all your bills down? Then you start with the smallest one and you cancel it. When you finish that one, you cancel it and you go on and go on. And I listen, then truly I finish everything. Now I'm not, I have no
really
debt.
good.
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
yes, it's good, yes.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
No, it does make a difference, doesn't it? When you just take a step back and realize what the actual problem you're working with is, and then just start making small steps towards what it is that you're trying to achieve. It makes it a lot easier to digest.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Has anybody else got anything to add to that or anything?
Yeah, I got a question. Well, it's more just wanted to hear what other people's thoughts are on this. I mean, growing up in Zimbabwe myself, I used to hear this quite a lot. You know, shoot for the stars. If you fail, you fall amongst the clouds at least. And I guess the notion of that was that, you know, you got to go ambitious and you know, even if you fail, at least, you know, you pursue some things in the course of you shooting for the stars, if I could put it that way.
Yeah.
When we juxtapose that against this whole smart concept, what are your thoughts about it? You know, just going all out and then hoping that you fall in the clouds.
Yeah.
Put it that way. I don't know what people's thoughts are on that, because that's how we were taught, driven, and obviously now, you know, we're learning a lot of new concepts and a lot of new things to try and look at the world differently, and obviously driving ourselves to be more goal oriented. But typically it was always just go really ambitious, and if it doesn't work out, at least, you know, you pick up a few things along the way.
Yeah, I think that is really, really good advice. So when we started doing our vision and goal setting, our vision is so big that it even scares us. So if your vision doesn't scare you about how on earth am I going to achieve that, your vision isn't big enough. So I completely agree with what Ben was saying, that it has to be so big. And by working towards that great big goal, it doesn't mean that if you don't get to it, you're a failure. It just means that you've attained so much more different things that you now have under your belt that you would have never had if you never tried to begin with. So if you never ever in your wildest dreams dreamt big, then you would never push yourself beyond what you can see in front of your eyes. So your dream has to be much bigger than you, much bigger than just yourself. You have to think generations beyond yourself. I believe. And if you do that, it pushes you in ways that you never even thought you could be pushed. It pushes you to think creatively. It pushes you to think about things that you never thought were attainable. Because even like, I guess like with the different concepts now people have been talking about, because I know this is a property group where people are thinking, I want to do property investment. And I guess when you're thinking about it, you're thinking, okay, I need to save X amount of money to be able to buy this house, and then save another lot of money to be able to buy that house. But that is not a system that would work in the long term, because you wouldn't be able to save enough money in the course of your own lifetime. So because somebody thought, I want to own 500 houses, they thought, okay, in order for me to do them, I can't rely on my own money. I need to start using someone else's money to be able to get that money, to get those houses in my portfolio. So they had to think creatively to be able to get them. So they might not have achieved the 500, but because they didn't limit themselves to, I want to get an investment property, they probably got 20 or 25 or 100 houses by thinking creatively of how else they could do it. But if they had sort of limited themselves, they would have never had the opportunity to think of different ways in which to achieve that. I don't know what other people's takes on that are. Has anybody else got a different way of thinking?
Can I just say something?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think when you are setting your goals,
Yeah.
you also need to be very realistic about
Mm-hmm.
your capability. Yes, I know that we want to dream big and have these huge goals, but initially, when you first start, you have to have like specific, small, achievable goals,
Mm-hmm.
and then once you achieve those goals, I think that will lead you into bigger things.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, set yourself a goal or that you can achieve. Yes, you have to be, you have to dream big. That's fine. But if you dream too big and you actually set yourself to fail because you say, oh God, this is too much for me. I can't do it. And then you just give up in the process.
Yeah. No,
So
that's
that's my,
really good. Yeah, no, thank you for that input, Tapio. I believe the same thing too. I believe, like I said, the vision is your overall picture. So I think your vision is your big task, and then your goals are what you do the smart things on. So those are the smaller bits that you do. So those are the ones that are more achievable, attainable, specific, the smart ones, your goals, your 6-month goal, your 1-year goal, and they're all leading towards a bigger picture of your 20-year goal or your 25-year goal. But if you were to make everything too simple on the flip side of it, then you're limiting your potential.
Can I just add to that as well?
Yes.
Yeah. So like one of the main reasons why we actually decided to discuss on goal setting is for this particular reason on how we all have a different opinion, slightly different opinion on, especially when it comes to achievable or attainable, the A on the SMART. And in many cases, it's opinionated. So what is actually achievable to one person is different to another person. And I'm for many people that already know, I'm a big fan of Jim Rohn. So he says, set a goal that is big enough, not for necessarily actually achieving it, but for what it makes of you to achieve it. So it's a good thing to sort of set a goal that you think you can achieve, but then it's a lot better to set a goal that you think is achievable, not based on your own capabilities, but based on the fact that someone else has managed to do it. So it's good to have this type of discussion. That's not to say one is wrong, one is right, but in setting your goals, what level should you actually put yourself at? From the initial question from Ben, that's what I think is really good about this discussion. At what point do you put your level Is it based on your own capability? If it's, for example, the weight loss, and you've never lost 10 kilo in 10 weeks before, does that mean it's not realistic for you to think you can? Or because someone else has done it, you should actually push yourself to achieve that, even if it means you actually lose 8 kilo type thing. So it's just another bit of an addition to what you were saying. I don't know, smiling, don't ask me that.
And do personalities really come into play as well with this? You know, just, you know, how you are, your character, I guess your values and, you know, experience, background, all of that stuff. You know, maybe that has got some connotation as to how you actually really view things. And I guess maybe it's actually knowing your capabilities, as I think the guy, I'm not sure who was speaking just before you moved to point as well, just to understand your capabilities as well. And I think that's quite important in the process of you setting goals. But definitely, I think important to also draw a big difference between the vision and the goals. You know, the vision being, this is the ultimate objective, this is the bigger picture. And then what are those steps that we need to take towards getting to that bigger picture?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that, Ben, because I think that your personality does play a part on it, and you're the type of person that you are. Like Harry had mentioned before, that some people, how do you like get over analysis paralysis? There's some people whose personality is more they want to steer away from risk, they want to steer away from failure, they want to steer away from anything that causes them to get outside of their comfort zone. And there's some people who literally just want to jump right in, and whatever happens, happens, but they can't know whether they're capable of doing it if they're never trying. So they will put themselves in situations where they will try. So like people who do like extreme sport or anything like that, your body in extreme weather, your body isn't used to certain things like that, but you train yourself, you push yourself to be able to achieve things that are outside of your norm, your day-to-day thinking. Does anyone else have any other ideas regarding goals and setting goals in order to be able to, I guess, help each other out to achieve a great 2021? Because we all have things that I guess, we are in the pipeline for what it is that we're trying to achieve. So what are your tricks or plans or skills to be able to set those goals, to see what you're going to achieve over the next year, which is sort of short-term-ish goals? Is anyone planning on setting any goals, or are we just gonna wing it?
No, I'm yeah. No, it's trouble. Yeah, no, 100%. Like, I'm planning on setting goals, and
Yeah.
so to be honest, I'm sorry I missed the conversations earlier on, but for
Alright,
me, for my goals, what I do is I try to write down my goals every day, like whatever like I've set myself to achieve, even if like for example this year, like my goal was to buy 10 properties, and that hasn't been possible because of various reasons, but like I'm not going to change my goal, like for the year. It will stick like that even if it's not achieved, like, so it's like I'll rather shift the time scales than shift the goal, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Or if the goal is, I'll rather upgrade the goal and make it bigger, or than degrade the goal to say, oh, you know what, I didn't achieve 10 properties. Let me just say my goal was to buy 2, or my goal is to buy 3. You know, I'll always set higher goals, even if it's not achieved, but just aim for them. And then on top of that, do daily activities which contribute towards your goal, you know. So whatever you do on a day in day out like basis, like outside of work or whatever you do, it's like, wait, you ask yourself the question, wait, I'm doing ABC today. What part of ABC contributes to my goals? You know, so if you're doing ABC and none of that is linked to your goals, obviously, like, that's not the right direction to be taken. Yeah, you can do A, B, C, D, and do F, something which contributes towards your goal. You know, so if my goal is to buy X amount of properties, am I gonna go on Rightmove, or am I gonna speak to someone about acquiring properties? Am I gonna speak to someone about raising money? So it's every day trying to implement like small incremental daily habits, you know, those will lead to your goals. So over time they compound together, and that, like, time after time, compound effect, you know. So in that way you're most likely to achieve your goals than to set your goals like January whatever, like, oh, my goal is X, then come March you haven't done anything towards your goals. So I always say your daily habits contribute towards your goals.
Yeah, that is
that's
very true.
that's my 2 cents.
Thank you so much for that, Tavo. Yeah, no, that's absolutely brilliant. And you are right, like the little steps that you do, and habit is a really good thing to touch upon, that you get into a habit of doing things to be able to progress yourself. And it is very, it takes, I think the last time, this keeps changing. The last time I heard it takes 21 days to form a habit, but you can break a habit a lot quicker than you can make it. So by forcing yourself to do a little bit every day, you get into the habit of progressing yourself. So that's a really good thing.
Yeah, true.
Can I just also say something about what Talbot just said, which I think
Yeah.
is really powerful. Just in addition, but which is a slight contradiction. I love the statements that you've just put in to say your habits contribute to your goals. I actually wanted to say I see it the other way around. If your goal is powerful enough, it starts creating your habits. So I was just discussing this with with Charleen earlier on to say that there's a statement that I read somewhere, I heard it on one of the YouTube channels or something, to say that when your goal is sharp and clear enough, the brain is set up to start creating an environment to start moving towards that goal. It's that great example that they usually say where if you decide that you want to buy a blue Range Rover, you start seeing it everywhere. Like the brain just naturally starts aligning you to the goal that you've set. So because your goal is sharp and clear enough, it starts creating habits that push you towards that alignment. So with that statement, I would say your goal creates your habits. And naturally, if your goal is strong and clear enough, your habits will naturally start push you towards that goal. But that is actually really good what you've actually said there.
No, 100%. I see you babysitting today.
I was
wondering why the baby's not smiling.
I'm not holding her.
Sorry, I was gonna say something. You know, my objective anyway, was obviously I haven't bought a property as yet, but my plan is, I'm driving an old banger right now, and I say to myself, I will not buy a car until I buy a house. So that is my goal at the moment. So I mean, you know, achieving that goal, that's another story. I mean, I am in the process of trying to achieve that goal, and I'm hoping that in the next couple of months I would have done it. So, you know, wish me good luck.
Good luck. You can do it.
I hope so. Yeah, thank you.
So, what made you make that goal? Was it?
No, because I mean, I've been, I've been thinking about going into property for a very long time. It's like, you procrastinate.
Yeah.
I've been watching homes under the hammer for as long as I can remember.
Yeah.
And I could see that, these things can be achieved. And I mean, now then I'm in this platform where I've noticed that, oh wow, we've got all these Zimbabweans who are doing these wonderful things. It's like, okay, this can be done.
Yeah.
This can be done. So I've actually been motivated even more now to achieve that goal, and then get to the next stage.
I'm glad that that's happened, because that is also like the power of being part of a community, because you are as strong as the people that are around you. So if you're around people who are doing different things, so if I guess if you're around people who wanted different things from life, you would probably be more aligned with what they're doing. But now that you've put yourself in a group where there's other people doing property and you can see how they're doing it, you can leverage from their own experiences. It makes that
Definitely.
thing a little bit more attainable.
Oh, definitely,
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no way you can't have that kind of energy with people like Tavo in the group.
Oh yeah, definitely. Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, now more energy, more fire.
No,
So
sorry.
Tabo, can I ask you how many houses do you have now?
Right now we're on 3, but next year it will be a different story. It will be 24. Nah, 30. Now next year it has to be 30.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Well
because
done.
yeah, I'm 30 years next week, so next year it has to be 30 properties at 30 years old. I think that's a fair enough
Oh
goal.
wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Good.
Good luck with that.
So
Yes.
I need that money in your savings, so to make it possible. We'll speak about that.
No, we help you. We help you. Oh, good.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, that is a good goal to have, Tabo. A house for each year of birth. So that is great. And like what Ben was saying, if you don't reach 30, you sure will be in the 20s or the anything. It will be definitely more than 3. So you'll have achieved a lot more than you've achieved this year. So keep going and keep pushing. And everyone please help Tabo. He's put it out into the group, to the universe, that that's what he wants to achieve, and we'll do everything we can to help him. We'll push him and we'll help him with our finances too. All right. If has anyone else got anything else to add to them? Okay, so what I'll do is I'll let Muzzy come and close this for us. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask, like, so how do you stay motivated with the goals that you've set, or just the habits? Because I do struggle with that sometimes, to be honest, like just staying on top of it and keeping myself motivated.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
so I don't know
what
what you'd recommend. Yeah.
with regards to motivation, like myself, I believe that with motivation is one of those things that I don't personally rely on, because if I did things based on how motivated I am, there's a lot of times I wouldn't do them. So with regards to that, I try and make it part of my daily habit. So what we do is that at the beginning of the day, we talk about the 3 things that we want to achieve. And with those 3 things that we want to achieve, we try and make it be that if nothing else goes right today, I want to at least achieve these 3 things. And that makes it that little bit more attainable. So you're not telling yourself that I need to do masses and masses of things to keep myself motivated. Because there's some days when you wake up and you won't want to do it. And you just have to get yourself into the habit, I guess, of doing just 3 things that will push you towards your goal each and every day. And by just having that mentality that, okay, I don't want to do it, but if I just get these 3 things out of the way, I've done my bit. And it becomes a part of you, a part of the things that you do on a daily basis. And you sometimes you won't even be thinking about it as, oh, I don't want to be doing this. It doesn't become as taxing. That's how I get around the idea of how do I stay motivated? Because motivation, if we relied on just motivation, it wouldn't happen. And like I was saying, like, for instance, especially, I know that I don't work on motivation because when I was doing my weight loss, I wasn't motivated to go out to run. Nothing about it made me want to do it. But then I was more in tune with what I wanted to achieve as a result of it. I was in tune with what I wanted to get out of it more than relying on my motivation to get me to do it. So I'd be like, okay, I don't want to run. I'm not motivated to run, but today if I just go for a 10-minute walk, make at least one healthy meal and not have that snack. Those are my 3 things. I'm not going to have a savory snack today. I'm not motivated to do any of them, but I've conditioned my brain to think that way. I hope that helps you. That's what I do.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. I'll try that. 2021.
No, start today. Start now. 2021 is too far. You're losing a week of 2020, so start today.
Thank you.
That's all right. Okay. Has anyone else got anything else to add? Anything else to ask me while I'm still here?
Yeah, probably you mentioned it, but what are your goals for next year?
I actually haven't mentioned it. But you're getting me to think, huh?
Ah.
I have a whole list of goals that I want to achieve for 2021, and I will share them with you. I've made a list of what I want to achieve in business and what I want to achieve in my personal life.
Personal
Because,
life. Okay.
yeah. So in terms of business, I've obviously got the long-term goals of helping grow the empire. And then in the short interim, we haven't discussed our 2021 goals with Mizzy yet. So I don't actually know.
And in 2021 it started. You guys, nah. You're late. That's a meeting for tonight.
Yeah, definitely. A meeting for that was going to happen definitely tonight. But yeah, I'm just making sure that I live a good life and working towards the ultimate goal, which is our property empire.
Yeah. Okay. Nah, that's good goals. Now we wish you all the best with that, and we will hold you accountable.
Oh yes,
You know.
definitely. I might, I will definitely be calling you to be my accountability partner. So yeah.
Nah, 100%, 100%.
Taba, we haven't had our goals. I don't know what you're on about to others.
I don't know. As I mentioned earlier in the call, our goals have been set. We just changing the time scales. It's 30 by 30. They're not changing. I'll stop when it's 30.
Yeah.
Unless you want to increase the number, that's fine, but we can't decrease it.
You've got your work cut out for you in the next year then.
Tabu, you're talking about 30. Some of us are much older than that. I don't think, we are looking at, a much larger number than that.
Now then, that's the number.
You just have a bigger hurdle, but it's achievable.
Yeah, 100%. You have to write it down and see how to get there.
Yeah.
Map it out.
Okay. So thank you so much, guys. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let Mizzy come and close. We have to swap because I think he's struggling a little bit. So thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
You're welcome.
Cheers. Thanks a lot.
Thank So what's everyone doing for Christmas since there's lockdown measures? Are you guys? I guess no one is traveling, right?
Stuck indoors,
Um,
mate.
My one.
Christmas is at home. Wow. Okay, people, thank you very much for listening in. And I think the presentation was fantastic. I'm yet to go and let her know. I think the presentation was really good. We kindly show appreciation to Charleen and the valuable information that she's shared. And for you guys who've actually played a part in asking questions and adding more valuable content in the topic. So there's one thing I just wanted to touch on before I ask if anyone else has got any other questions to ask, is as part of the goal setting sort of theme, this started when myself and Charleen were discussing what we're going to be planning for next year. And we thought, why don't we just bring it up to the community and get everyone thinking something similar and in planning and setting your goals for next year. But as ZPI, the Zim Property Investors, we are also setting our goals and where we're going to be taking this community and what we're planning to do with it. So as many of you are aware, in the group or the Facebook group, I always share how the group is growing, where we are. So the last one I shared was there's 800 of us in the Facebook group, and it's growing phenomenally, and we're absolutely grateful for it. And I've had various conversations with different people, and everyone, as you're aware, is on different levels in terms of their journey. Now, some people are really serious about their journey. Some people are still a bit curious. Some people are just watching, just seeing what's going on. And there's been requests in different sort of like stages that if we can align people that are really serious to each other. And because our group is so big, it's difficult to tell the people that are making moves and people that are just sort of watching. So we're looking at some point, probably in the beginning of the year, we're going to start bringing people that are taking serious action, bringing them together into, we're still kind of thinking about how we're going to structure that, but bringing them together into a sort of a premium kind of group where there's a lot more really fantastic deals can actually take place. Funds can be shared for deals to actually happen, and putting people together in collaborations that have already been taking place, but then we need to just accelerate that a little bit more. If we bring those people together, it makes it easier then to identify those people that are easy to work with, people that have that fire that we were talking about, people that have that motivation to take the next step. So that's what we're looking to do. Watch this space. We're going to be sharing a bit more information about that soon. And that's part of our goal setting and goal planning for Zim Property Investors. I just have to say personally, I'm really grateful for the supports that you guys, especially who are on the call now, have shown so far. And all the guys that are watching on our channel, the support has just been phenomenal. And our group is only months old. It's only months old, and it's grown so much. And the value that's been shared here by different people is just really, really great. So we're really like approaching 2021 with a high positive anticipation of what we can achieve as the community. And I'm personally really looking forward to it. So I just thought I'd share that information. And if there's anyone here who's looking for a little bit more information on what we are planning to do in terms of that close-knit premium group, feel free to contact us and we can get you guys jumping on ahead of many other people. So in terms of what Charleen has shared, which I think is really fantastic, has anyone else got anything to add, any questions that they might want to throw in before we move?
Sorry, Mose. I mean, going back to what you've just been saying about, having this close group, I don't know whether we've all watched the Kenyan thing, what they're doing in Kenya about building this, this complex, like a group of Kenyans in America, about 300 of them. They've come together and they've built like, like a massive, they're doing a massive project. I think maybe, I don't know whether that's what you were looking at, this close-knit group that you spoke about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So as what we're doing now is it's a concept of sharing the value of our own experiences. So you've mentioned that you're looking to actually set your goals to purchase some properties. And once you've gone through, whether it's your first, second, third, or fourth, you gather some experience that you would be willing to share with people that are looking to do the same thing. That's where we are right now. We're just sharing information to see if anyone can actually use that information to get themselves started or get to the level that we're at. However, we've also got people that have already done what we're doing now or that have already surpassed us, but they want this group to still be utilized for them to take the next step. So an example is exactly what you've pointed out, where there's people who are gathering together, putting funds together as a community and using those funds to start purchasing property and making that money work for them. So that is something that's actually sort of coming that we want to open up to all the people that are willing to do that. Obviously, there's structural issues in getting people, the right people involved, the right contracts and all that set up. But because it's been done before, we don't have to reinvent the wheel. So we can get that set up. But absolutely, that is one of those things that we'd want to do. We'll be looking to do accountability sessions as well, like Tendai mentioned earlier on, and also specific strategies that people can actually assist on. All of that will actually be part of it as well. So this is essentially the next level. So this is no longer someone who's thinking, how do I start in property? This is someone who says, I've already created this in property and I want to take it to the next level. How can we use this community to help me take myself to the next level? So that is what we're looking to do. And thanks for pointing that out, Tapiwa. Hope that clarifies that.
Okay, cheers.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Anyone else got anything to add or any questions that they might want to ask about Charlene's presentation or what I've just mentioned? And bear in mind, if you're watching on YouTube, feel free to just drop the question on the comments below, or just join us on the link that's below that takes you straight to our Facebook group. You can easily contact us. We're gonna be the admins on the group. You can feel free just to send us messages for anything specific that you might want to ask, and we will respond to you as soon as possible. Okay. Any questions from anyone else?
Nothing from me, Muzi. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Tabo. And I'm looking forward to speaking to you about your goals for 2021, this time next year, where you will have 30 properties under your belt.
No worries, mate. This live next year we'll be celebrating, man. I can see it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll be with you, bro.
100%.
Yes,
So where do
you want to say
put us?
something?
So Muzi, where do you put us when you screen us with just watching?
When I talk about people that are just watching, Charlene, you're
Yeah.
definitely not
So
one of them. You are
sure.
not. You are
Oh,
not one of
well
them.
done.
You're definitely not one of them. You are one of the most
I think if
active
you're
ones.
already on this call, you're participating, yeah.
Exactly. That's a very
Yeah.
good point, Tabo.
It's Sunday, and obviously people put effort to come on this call to share information, to pick up information. So I feel like people who come on these calls, who make time to come on the calls, is participating, because it's all about sharing information, gaining information, and helping each other. Because there is an African proverb which says, if you want to go alone, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, we go together.
Yes.
So that's
Yes.
why we've created these groups to uplift each other. because no one can do it on their own. It's impossible to do anything on your own.
No, that's
So people need a community.
Well said, Tavo. Well said.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, that's it.
For me, I just want to see to know why Pauline hasn't said anything.
Good question.
She's a good listener.
Listening.
Yes, yes.
Unknown to her, she's my mentor, you know.
Oh, all right.
Nah, Pauline is doing well, doing very well. Okay. Now, absolutely, as Tawa said, the guys that are already on the call right now, you would not be the ones that I class as the curious ones and quiet. I'm looking at action takers. So you might not think just listening into this call is not much action, but the fact that you join week in, week out tells me that you've got a passion to do something with your life. So you are not one of the ones I'm talking about when I say the curious ones. When I say the curious ones, I'm talking about people that join the groups and just don't participate. They're just literally trying to see what's going on. So at some point we will have to sort of like separate it a little bit and get a group where the action takers are pushing each other and taking it to the next level. And I believe that in this group, we can do that. I've seen it already, but we just need to harness that ambition, that inspiration, and really put it to our own advantage, because I think we can achieve great things. Beautiful. Right. Any questions, anything to add? Thank you very much, Pauline. And Merry Christmas to you all, guys. I'm actually just thinking the next Sunday is gonna be after Christmas. So yeah, it's right to say Merry Christmas. This year has just literally flown by. Merry Christmas to everybody. I hope you guys have an amazing time, the best that you can in the current conditions and situation. But I'm pretty sure you guys can make the best of it. And we will see each other on Sunday.
Oh,
Merry
Merry
Christmas,
Christmas.
everyone.
Yes, everyone. Yes.
Thank you.
So thank you guys. Merry Christmas and
everyone.
Happy New Year.
Okay, bye.
Merry.
Thanks all. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Yes.
Bye.